The start of the season could have major ramifications on how the rest of your season goes, and the Vancouver Canucks, the start seems to indicate how that season will go. I mean, we had an amazing start in the season that we ended up going to the second round of the playoffs and winning first in the Pacific Division. We didn't have that. We had an okay start. I think we even had a better start, but it was so sloppy the way we got there that it kind of just rolled and snowballed into the rest of the season where it was all kind of sloppy and we barely missed the playoffs. But the Vancouver Canucks need a good start to start the season, and I had some expectations for them. And let's see if they have met these expectations 10 games into the season. We are officially 10 games in. The 11th game is in 15 minutes. And I'm very excited for it. I decided not to go to the Abbey Canucks game tonight so I could watch it. But let's see how the Vancouver Canucks are doing according to my expectations. How's it going, guys? I'm CanucksLand. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be going through expectations versus we're going to be doing a 10-game checkup, for the Vancouver Canucks, and I'll be saying what I expected them to be, and I'm going to talk about where they're at and how they've been doing. So the Vancouver Canucks have started off their first 10 games of the season 5-5, a perfect 500 for the Vancouver Canucks, and honestly, as much as you would want more, my expectation and what I wanted the Vancouver Canucks to hit, the mark I wanted them to hit at the first 10 games was 6-4. They're one loss instead, and I definitely think that you could have traded one of the Nashville loss, beat them, and you could have had hopefully a better result if you didn't take as many penalties against Montreal. But the world we live in, we're 5-5, and that's totally fine. Just because we're 500 through the first 10 games doesn't mean we're out of it, because look at the spot that we're in. We're 1 point out of the playoffs currently now. We're tied with four teams, or three teams. We're the fourth team. We're tied with Nashville, Chicago, and Edmonton, for all 10 points, 1 point out of a wild card spot that is currently being held by the Los Angeles Kings and the Dallas Stars. Anaheim's also tied with LA at 11 points, but they're in the divisional just due to they have the game in hand. Chicago's ahead of us because of the game in hand and all that stuff. But the Vancouver Canucks are in a decent spot. They need to go on a streak, though. You can't be sitting at 500 through the first 20 or 30 games. You have to start picking it up. And the Vancouver Canucks need to do just that. And their game has been kind of picking up, but there's been some injuries. Oh my. My expectation for the injuries, let's talk about that, was I thought there would be some, but I didn't think there would be this many. There's, I think, 7 roster players currently injured. Quinn Hughes is day to day. Filipino's out from that huge hit from Tom Wilson. Sorry I didn't talk about that a lot last week. Sorry I didn't talk about that in this week in CanucksLand a lot, but man, that hit was just. It felt like. Of course, it felt targeted of like, yeah, he was going to make the hit. That's what he wanted to go do. But I felt like Tom Wilson knew what he was doing, but it was a clean hit. I feel like maybe it was just a tad late. I don't. 2 minutes for interference. That's all I wanted, really. That's all I wanted. But, yeah, that just not great. Filipino's now out. I didn't expect him to get hurt that quickly. I did expect maybe something to happen this season. You know, you always have it in the back of your mind. I was hoping for a healthy year, but man, it happened very quickly. Teddy Bluger's out. Our center depth is cooked. We got Lucas Reichel in a trade though, so he helps a little bit. He hasn't been too bad. Hopefully, he's not riding on adrenaline. Hopefully, he's actually doing really, really good for the Vancouver Canucks. We'll see how he does tonight. We'll see if it's adrenaline or not. Probably tonight. The next bit of injuries, let's see, we got Derek Forbert, Victor Mancini. Those ones, LTIR for Forbert, LTIR for Niels Hoglander, and then Mancini is on IR, and Leckermack is on IR. So did I go through all of them? Hughes, Hedel, Forbert, Mancini, Hoglander, Leckermack. I feel like I'm missing one more. Who am I missing? I think I got most of them. You know what? I think we're going to leave it there. I think I got most of them. I might be wrong about the 7. Because I'm counting 6 right now. But the Vancouver Canucks have a bunch of injuries. I didn't expect this many injuries. Injuries were a whole thing last year. Wasn't expecting this many this year. But there's been a lot. We have to deal with them. It's a thing that the team has to deal with now. And they seem to be doing okay, kind of. Like, they went on a 3-game losing streak. But then in the game against Montreal, they looked fine. In the game against Edmonton, they looked good as well. But the Vancouver Canucks are in a good spot. I think that if we just go up on a little bit of a win streak, if we get some of these players back from injury, then we should be good. We seem like we're finding our game. We just got to hope they find their game and stick to it. And Vancouver Canucks could be in a good spot. But also, it could flip a switch. It could be in a bad spot. I'm hoping for at least like a 3-game win streak, and then you do 1-1, and then you pick up another 2, and you'll be in a good spot, right? 3-game win streak puts you up to 8-5. You lose 1-1, you're up to 9-6, and then you get 2 more, you're up to 11-6. Very high expectations. Feel like that probably won't happen, but if you do that, you give yourself a bit of a safety cushion to where if you just continue to go 500 or win every two out of every 1 game, like you're in a good spot. If you go on a bit of a losing streak. Now let's go to the player points. The one who has absolutely shattered expectations is Connor Garland. Now, he's off to a hot start. Do I think he'll sustain it? Probably not, but I really like the start that Connor Garland's off to. He's at 10, in 10 games played, he's got 3 goals, 8 assists for 11 points. He's over a point per game. He's the only only player on this team who is point per game or above. And yeah, he's having a great start to the year. Elias Pettersson, it was slow to start, but now he's got the second most points on the team through 10 games played. He's got 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points. I'm hoping he picks up a lot tonight, just because it's the JT Miller night. Quinn Hughes has 1 goal, 6 assists for 7 points in 9 games. Played 1 less game. He's only missed the game against Edmonton. And yeah, it's Quinn Hughes. He hasn't looked the best, but he's still got 7 points in 9 games. So I'm not really complaining too much. Kiefer Sherwood has 6 points. All of them goals in 10 games. He is popping off. Sherwood's having a surprising... I do think it slows down a little bit. He is shooting at a 30% clip. It's going to go down, but a great start for Kiefer Sherwood. Brock Besser as well. Brocktober has begun with 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists for 8 in 8 games. Brocktober, it's just what it is. Lucas Reichel, before even coming to Vancouver, hasn't gotten a Vancouver point yet. He's 7th with 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points in 7 games. And then Jake DeBrusk, 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points in 10 games with the Vancouver Canucks. So I was hoping DeBrusk would get a little bit better of a start, but you know what? He usually heats up in November, so I'm waiting for it. Evander Kane, this one's been a little bit disappointing. 4 assists in 10 games, although not the worst, but he hasn't scored. And he hasn't seemed... At times, he's taking a lot of penalties. He's also drawing a lot of penalties, so that's the thing as well. But he's not really making up for the amount of penalties that he's taking. He's got 12 penalty minutes, which leads the team. The next closest is Sherwood, Myers, and Marcus Pettersson, all with 8. He leads the team by 4, which is crazy. Max Sasson, this has been a surprise. 3 goals in 7 games. He's looked very good. Same with his line mates, with two assists for Linus Karlsson and 2 assists for Archie Baines. That line just looks good. They're able to provide some energy. It's always, they go at the set the tone. I wouldn't mind them starting the game if the other team put out, I think when you're the home team, you're able to match. The other team puts out a lower line, just to be like, oh, maybe they put out the Pettersson line. We'll put out a matchup line. Then you put these guys out, a bit weaker of opponents out there on the ice, and they go and they set the tone. I feel like that's a very set the tone line. Goal, 2 assists for Myers. He's behind Sasson with 3 points. Hedl, I don't know if I talked about Hedl. He's got 3 goals in 6 games, but he got hurt. Yeah, and that's just not great. Ratu, 1 assist, and after that, it's kind of just the 1 assist club, or the 1 goal club with Teddy Bluger, Jonathan Leckerman being a part of the goal club, Ratu, O'Connor, DPD, and Marcus Pettersson being a part of the assist club. Everyone else has 0 points, being Joseph LeBate, Derek Forbert, Neil Zalman, Braden Coots, who only played 3 games, P.O. Joseph, Victor Mancini. In terms of where the players are at, I was hoping this team was scoring would be a little bit higher, but as I feel like that prediction is just kind of based in I want more goals, and I want to cheer more goals. This team isn't a very offensive first team. They're a defensive first team, so it makes sense that their offensive numbers aren't great, and that they're going to have to make up for it with playing great defense and being able to try to outscore the opponents while also being able to defend their opponents. I feel like that's a big thing with Edmonton in that last game. Although, yeah, you're trying to outscore the Edmonton Oilers, you're also trying to outdefend the Edmonton Oilers. You're trying to shut down those top 2 guys. And I know Draisaitl got 2 goals, but McDavid only got 1 point. Bouchard, and then in overtime, Elias Pettersson, how am I forgetting? It was Derek Forbert, Elias Pettersson, it was Jake DeBrusk, I think. They shut down McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard. And then As soon as those guys got off the ice, you put out 3 forwards and they take advantage. Like it's plays like that. It's times like that that this team's really gonna shine, but they need to do it consistently, and they have had breakdowns. Their penalty kill went from like unbeaten in the first 2 games, and it wasn't even that bad in the third game. I think it only got beat once or twice, to one of the worst penalty kills in the league, and it's immediately because we're missing Derek Forbert and Teddy Bluger. So you got to be able to balance those out. Elias Pettersson's been taking on a great role, and I really like what he's done. He's taken on more of a defensive role while also trying to provide as much offense as he can, and I think he's been doing good at that role. His scoring has picked up these last few games, and if it continues, he looks like Elias Pettersson of old. Quinn Hughes, hopefully he's able to get back in the lineup. And then just hopefully everyone's able to like pick up a little bit more scoring, get a little bit more fluid, and with good defense, offense will come. Alright, while I was editing this video, I remembered that I forgot to do the goaltending, so I will talk about the goaltending real quick. I know it kind of like glossed it over, and I went on a whole rant about how we're supposed to play the game, but we got to talk about the goaltending as well, because the goaltending has been a factor this season for the Vancouver Canucks, both good and bad. Let's start off with the backup goaltender. We got Kevin Lankinen, who's played 4 games, started all 4, hasn't had to come in for Demko yet. Demko hasn't had to come in for Lankinen, so the starts are the games they played. And he's 1-3 with a 3.74 and an 8 with a 3.74 goals against average and an 8.73 save percentage. I mean, the game against St. Louis, I'll give it to him. I thought he had a good game. I think it was the game against Pittsburgh. It was a little iffy. The game against Chicago was a good game. He was able to hold it out, and we were able to make a good comeback in that game. And then the game against, he's had 2 iffy games and 2 good games, and I feel like the iffy games have taken over his stats a little bit. Hopefully he's able to get into the groove. I feel like his contract at this moment is looking a little iffy. I'm going to use that word a lot. A little iffy, but he has to get back into the groove. Hopefully he's able to, and he gets into the way of doing things and has a good night. Thatcher Demko, he's had 6 starts. He's 4-2 with a 2.36 goals against average and a 9.22 save percentage. When he's played, he's stole games. Like, those 4 wins, he's probably stole most of them. The Edmonton Oilers, he even stole a loss. Like, we could have lost way more against the Edmonton Oilers. We could have lost way more against, who was the other loss against? That was against the Nashville Predators. I feel like that could have also been a little bit more. But Demko has definitely been a highlight. He's been probably our superstar. He's been our #1 player so far this season. The goaltending is good. If Kevin Lankinen can pick up his game, I feel like the goaltending will be very, very solid. But at this time right now, Thatcher Demko is so back. All right, I'm going to move back to the part I recorded before. That is it for this one. I'll say my final little thoughts here. Where they're at, do I like where they're at? Totally. I don't mind it at all. I would have rather them have one more win with the less, the swap of one more win, one less loss. But you know what? 5-5 is fine, especially with how many injuries we've had. And the games that we've taken are the games that are pretty surprising. I mean, we've won against the Dallas Stars, Washington Capitals, the Edmonton Oilers, and then the other 2 wins are against the Chicago Blackhawks and the Calgary Flames. Those are your 2 that you have to win. Those are 3 you don't have to win. But then you flip it on the other side, right? And you got Pittsburgh and Nashville that we lost to. St. Louis that you're hoping that we get the win on. Montreal's been hot, but you're hoping that you can get that win. And then the one team that it's kind of like okay to lose to is the Edmonton Oilers, right? They just went to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. It's the Edmonton Oilers. But we have a bit of a tough schedule coming up. I think we play, let's see if I can find it on ESPN here. Just one last thing, the schedule, how it is. So we played the New York Rangers in 6 minutes now at the time of the recording of this video. Then we go on to play St. Louis, Minnesota, and Nashville, Chicago. If we're able to pick up a big win against the New York Rangers tonight, then you can go 1-1 against the St. Louis Blues and Minnesota Wild. And then Nashville and Chicago, although we did lose to Nashville and we beat Chicago, hopefully we're able to pick up 2 wins there. So if we pick up a big win against New York tonight, just try to pick up 1 win against these St. Louis, Minnesota teams, and then go destroy Nashville. Go destroy Chicago. Go try to beat Columbus as well. And I know they're away games. The 3 little road trip in the Central with the Nashville Predators. We just got to try to pick up something here, man. This team's starting to get a little bit more fluid. I feel like they can do it. Hopefully they can. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this team has what it takes? It looks a little iffy, but I think if the things go right, they can definitely get there. But yeah, I set a goal to try to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this regular season. We're at 257 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it so much. If you're a Canucks fan and you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm getting better. I'm getting in the zone of getting the content done while working. I was able to do this, get the energy to do this, which is nice. After staying up for that 18-inning baseball game, that was crazy. The video up here is the video on your right is the video from Monday. The video on your left is the video from Friday. Subscribe right down under there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.